Sometimes I go to bed a bit early, just to feel cozy, and it is in this cocoon that my thoughts turn to so long ago, usually through a female focal point, and then laterally onto local events, which grants a correlation to the year and the season. It was summer, 1959. I was 12 and a half, adrift in boyhood's time of June. The school year had ended a week ago. The whole of Oak Park, Forest Park, lay before me and my bicycle. I didn't feel ashamed to use it, but I put my baseball cards in a box and gave them to the kid across the street. I walked down Winona Avenue a block and a half and then one avenue over via Garfield Street toward Ensweiler's store, my destination, located at the corner of Home Avenue, but at the last second headed over across Garfield to strike up a conversation with a girl who was standing at a railing and watching the Congress's expressway being built. "I'm friendly," I said to myself to ease my apprehension. There were clunking noises much further down, which had been drawing closer each day, from the large and long metal and linking pieces being driven down far into the ground by a pile driver, to form the basis for a retaining wall. Uh-oh, I thought. She might be young, if not just thin, but there was no turning back now. "Hello," I called out.
I'm little Lulu.
She's not shy, I thought. "So you're a comic book character come to life?"
My life is upside down, but I like keeping track of the expressway progress down there. That's me, though I'm more serious than humorous, although at times comedic, but not on purpose.
It had begun in 1956. She pointed down and over the wide swath that soon would bear 6 auto lanes, transit trains in the middle, and freight trains on this side. Lincoln's 6th grade, aren't you?
Yes, or I just was. It was boring.
Oh. For my first year I was Austin, my first name. But since my father and grandfather are named Austin too, sometimes all 3 of us would come when Austin was called. I'm Patrick, which is my middle name.
I'm just out of 7th.
She almost smiled, but didn't. I would usually beat them, although I could only crawl. She was indeed thin and looked a bit worn. She just stared out across the expanse, which was not what I had expected. It's about a block wide and 25 miles long.
Patrick, I'm thinking of all those people that had to be moved, their homes torn down, and that we already poor South Oak Parkers in these last 3 little blocks of the village are being chopped off, isolated from everything, living on the wrong side of the tracks.
There is to be a narrow walking and biking bridge right here at Home Avenue. Yes, we've been severed, or at least separated Lulu from all the rest, but the bright side is that we now have our own little corner of the world right here.
So you've been reading about it? I like information.
Yes, and see, they're starting one of the pillars over there, but you're right, of course. And I'm a dreamy optimist, for the situation is now even worse while Oak Park and Harlem Avenues are closed and being turned into temporary bridges.
We live in that big apartment building right across there, but our apartment is on the Home Avenue side, so I can't see the expressway from there. You can't come over, no one can come over. I cook, I clean, pay the bills, everything. Well, I'm lucky to be out here, for I have to take care of my mother, but she's sleeping now.
We watched some dump trucks still hauling dirt away, this having gone on for at least 3 years now, although concrete was being put down for the road portion. Perhaps her mother has alcoholism or the place is messy or both. I'll just leave it alone. It was warm, so I looked over to Ensweiler's and said, "I'll be right back. Are you still going to be here?"
Yes, but just for a while.
I returned with 2 orange double popsicles, giving one to her. She smiled, the first I'd noted, and happily took it. We then silently savored the ice particles being chipped away, the cascade of chill and flavor relieving our dry throats.
I like your shoes. They're black and curvy, and your pants look tough.
You're perhaps a toughy type of girl with that bandana on, the metallic stone necklace, and the silver-studded belt.
I'm tough as nails with the tender yet to come. I feel down today. Stay and talk to me.
Perceptive. Well, I'm tough in sports, and I can ride a bike for 100 miles, way out to the prairie and beyond. But I also read a lot, and I love nature, adventure, and all things unknown. And so if that be a sweet spot for retreat, mystery, and enjoyment, then my toughness be its contrast but also its protector. She pondered this for a while, as if some heavy pour from a thunderous word storm had just fallen out of the sky onto her fragility, and then asked, as if I was suddenly the source of all knowledge.
I like to know things too. How come we're so interested in that big long hole out there?
In short, it's new.
Tell me more, Inlong.
Well, maybe you think I know things, and I do some, but I am ever learning. Probably something in us reacts to whatever is new so that we might attend to it in case it's going to matter somehow, especially on this large scale, out of this world, monstrous undertaking, and perhaps even a plain old change to a parking lot might seem very interesting for a day or two. I'll let you know if I ever really figure it out.
I'm listening, but what else about the expressway?
Oak Park is not letting there be any exits totally within it for security, but just at the east and west ends, at Harlem Avenue and at Austin Boulevard, the last one being way down from here, at the border with Chicago. The ramp at East Avenue was even half done, but now there can't be one there. The reasoning also being that our two high schools are on East Avenue and don't need to have any more traffic.
One is Fenwick, isn't it? A Catholic school just for boys?
Yes.
Boring, just boys. Half the world shut out and Gonzville erased from nature.
True, and I'm making sure that I go to the public high school.
What else about this eighth wonder of the world? I'm serious. It dominates my scene. Somehow it helps me cope, but for that pounding noise.
The on-ramps at Harlem and Austin are in the center so that Oak Park can have less disruption on the side streets of Garfield and Harrison that run all the way alongside. But that means entering and merging onto the expressway into the fast lane, a probable source of accidents. Plus, it limits the width here to 3 lanes each way. But with 4 lanes in Chicago, meaning that a bottleneck will form during rush hour.
Dear old Oak Park. Those pounding and clunking noises are driving me crazy, and in a month or so, they'll be right here at my doorstep. I can't take it, they obliterate my thoughts. Puts me on edge. I'm cranky.
Yes, and I can hear them at home. Every big clunk only seems to drive the pieces in only an inch or two. The concrete wall around them will keep everything from caving in.
Luckily, I may be away in soon.
I like meeting neighborhood people. My Catholic school just seems strange, as not very normal except for a few great kids here and there.
My life is far from normal. I had to grow up fast.
I do see a serious and weary look about you, but one from which your beautiful features still shine on through. Her face lit up but then went back.
My seriousness will turn to wrinkles long ahead of their time. I don't have much time to think or feel.
Need help?
You like my features, do you? We get some help at times during the school year, and from my friend Sharon Dalton when I'm not around. You can't come over.
You are as a flower opening, a dream solidifying to stake its root into world. You're on the cusp. Maybe you need to eat more, if I dare say. You look wonderful. Your features mean business, but there's a beauty and a gentleness too.
Where do you get all this stuff?
I read, I look, I learn, I listen.
Sounds like crossing a street.
I just did, to get to you, Garfield Street.
What kind of a name is that anyway?
Our streets are named after the presidents.
Didn't Garfield get shot?
Great, yes.
And Harrison across this big ditch?
There were 2. One died of pneumonia after about 30 days in office, and the other was not very effective.
Wonderful, 2 deadbeats for us. Are the streets in order?
At first, yes, for a while, with some omissions, but they got mixed up around here.
We are the oddballs.
The next bit surprised me when she revealed.
My breasts just started popping out a few months ago as pinpoints and pencil points, and then as like felt marker size and some more, but they're not all there yet.
Well, that was bold, and if I may be too, I wonder if they feel, tender still.
They do, so yes, I am tough and tender, haha, and I don't know why I told you. Sometimes I just blurt things out. Back and forth talk and life is fine sometimes, but time just has to move for me much quicker.
It's because little Lulu is torn across many worlds.
I'll be away for a month or so at my father's, probably leaving as soon as tomorrow. I'm not at my best right now. She has to go now.
Next time I see you, you will be Lucille, I called after her.
She turned and waved. Yeah, I will be, won't I?
See you then, promise?
Yes, I'll try.
And with that, Lulu walked away, leaving behind a chapter of her life as she stepped into the unknown. What a strange afternoon it had been, it going just like that. So brief and near mystical, yet holding the mysterious promise of the more enduring. She, in her rare and younger maturity that could only flower and fulfill itself more grandly, this glimpse of magic and honesty arriving during a week in which nothing else had really happened at all, but for us getting our new baseball uniforms. Well, we give ourselves happily unto the world, planting seeds of joy along the often barren and rocky way, but can never quite know the twists and turns of the seedlings, if they even be, and if they can even form stalk which may go on to wither and die, or grow strong enough to spread and bloom with flowers to show their colorful, bright and sunny faces to us and to heaven. She liked particulars, and so I'd given them. For a moment life had giveth, and then it had takest away. Ever the blessing with the curse. Well, the time had been fine, and then she had to walk away. If this was our last goodbye, then it had come near before a real hello, although it had gone well enough. Well, I wouldn't say nothing at all happened of late, for I had kissed someone a few months ago, and that was sacred, and I wanted it to stay that way, as my first kiss, plus with baseball, touch football, pool, biking, tennis, and friends. It wasn't like I was going to give up all that to hang out with a now unavailable 6th grade girl. Well, okay, going into 7th, but I was headed for 8th. Only a grade apart, but this was a gap seemingly as wide as an expressway at this time in life, but she did say that she was old for her grade. So then, why was I camped just a few houses down Home Avenue on Michael's front porch the next day, with him of all kids at a place I'd never been? For he was an ungraceful type who had aggravated everyone, girls and boys alike. Maybe I could head him in a better direction. Well, yes, maybe, but he seemed intractable. I'd tried before. He was hopeless, I thought, at least for now. I was here to watch for Lulu. Half the day went by. I really needed to be practicing pitching somewhere. A car finally drove up. Lulu's father stood about it, not looking happy. He tapped his fingers on the roof.
He waited, then called out, "Let's go, Lucy."
Lulu came out carrying a large suitcase, its size suggesting that she'd be gone for a long time. Did she look my way? I couldn't really say. After baseball practice, I returned to our expressway perch and sat down to read a book, losing track of time. Nothing happened. I returned the next night with another book, gliding away to exotic lands within its pages. There was nothing to expect. It just felt good to be here, to sense the aura, to prolong its lingering. Dusk fell. A bit later, a woman came out of Lulu's apartment, evidently her mother, and she so very slowly walked down Garfield toward Forest Park. My head was still looking into my book, but I had slightly shifted my eyes to above the top of the page. I couldn't make out her features, though. I didn't have to follow her, for I'd seen her before, carrying a bottle home in a paper bag, bought in Forest Park near my St. Bernardine school. At Harlem Avenue, where there was a bar I'd seen her in, for we'd often gone bowling next door. Oak Park was dry, nowhere to buy a bottle, no bars at which to buy a drink. When she came back, I was gone. The next day, I gave Michael $5, asking him to keep an eye on Lulu's apartment, nothing obvious, but just when he happened to be on the porch or outside. I then bought a popsicle and checked on the expressway for a bit, then wrote a note on the popsicle wrapper and put it under a rock, but with some of the writing showing. I'd probably have to restore it if it got too wet or faded. I often used this street, and so I could attend to this little hope. I felt silly. I didn't know what might become of what I was doing, but it felt good to be doing something. Meanwhile, Michael had long since reported about a blonde girl coming down the alley and out and around to Lulu's apartment. On some days, she leaving a while later with a bag of trash that she'd deposit in the trash bin in the alley, and then walk on. I prompted him for more details. Mike, when she got to the end of the alley after throwing the trash, which way did she turn? Mike looked perplexed, as if why would he be watching her walk all the way away? Mike, I know you've dropped out of Lincoln School, but you do remember seeing her there in your class. And she is beautiful, isn't she?
I saw Sharon. She turned left. I watched her all the way each time. Couldn't take my eyes off of her.
Did she arrive from the alley too?
Yes.
Did she look happy?
Huh? Yeah, she was prancing and maybe even singing. Do I get another $5?
Yes and no, since I'm not rich, but here's another 3 for your trouble, and in case anything else comes up. So there it was, left. There was but an apartment building there, on Garfield and Kenilworth, then nothing but the new expressway dig. This girl had to be Sharon, she taking the shortest way around. If she lived further down, then she'd take Garfield all the way, for her arrival at least. I'd seen her at Carroll Playground, where we had softball games. There were not many things, events, or people that could escape my all-seeing eyes. My best friend, also named Patrick, had liked her, but had noted her youth, she thus having been classified as still being on the underside of that great divide known as puberty. Wait till he sees her now or in a few months. Her entrance had to be on Kenilworth, and so it was. For I looked, but didn't proceed. For it looked like Lulu had everything taken care of, for her mother. Plus, it wouldn't be right to befriend her friend before I knew Lulu better. There were limits to this game, but information was still info. So they were close, Sharon and Lulu, a team but kind of like sun and moon opposites, blonde brightness and a happy-go-lucky shine at large versus the brunette darkness and the worn life of a dark gothic world of drink on one's shoulders. The boys would eventually all fall for Sharon on sight, yet Lulu was beautiful too, though more at first as an elfin waif, she more dwelling within, with deeper cares and thoughts, which would be perfect for one-on-one, which I was good at. What was I? I was sunshine too, true, but many lights shone for me, a wider view that went all ways, even with studying mixing with sports, but was ever a romantic overall. So I was the stars, the beautiful combination of light and dark, night and day, for the stars were suns. I was happy for them. What more could I do? I had not intruded, spied, yes, but just out of love, curiosity, and concern. Did I say love? No, it couldn't be. It was just the newness, like the expressway, but it was a rather large newness, just the same. Catchy music kept playing in my head. Since it wouldn't leave, I embraced it. I floated on its strains. It was her, yes. And then it came to be accompanied by Martin Denny's A Taste of Honey that Pat Hickey had played for me. Five weeks had now passed. We all been hanging out a lot with Judy, Vicky, Peggy, and some others from Maple Avenue. Fun, but not worth a lot of mention, but for Judy. Kid stuff. Michael had walked over to my house to give me an ambulance report. Lulu's mother had fallen outside, had been taken away, and then had been returned the next day. Her liver will fail before she reaches 40, Michael. Don't drink, at least not excessively. Best not at all. Maybe some wine with dinner, years from now. No more reports arrived. Lulu was gone, gone, gone. August had begun a week ago. To me, this was the real midsummer's day. So, too, I was part of a team named Hickey and Torney, each of us called Pat. I had mentioned to him that I knew where Sharon Dalton lived, and that he might happen to be around there or look about Carroll Playground to get another updated opinion on her. He didn't seem ready to pursue this. I happened to have met someone several weeks ago, Judy, down Maple Avenue at McDonald's, technically in Berwyn, after asking about the flowers in her hair and if she was a flower girl from San Francisco.
I'm from Jersey, my sister and I, she said, with kind of an accent, and we're staying with my aunt and uncle for 6 weeks just across from the baseball field at Maple Park.
I thought they'll be coming across to watch all the baseball games. And they did. Not that Judy wasn't pretty, for she was, but she seemed, well, ungrounded to me. Perhaps it was also that why should I begin a short summer thing and then just have it end? It was also that little comic book kid, Lulu, she at that rare and precious time of being on the verge of womanhood. But she was gone, wasn't she? And/or would have to eventually live with her father somewhere, probably. Judy had glued onto me, and I didn't know how it would play out, but this was life. Right, and summertime, in a youth that would never be so young again. I came to enjoy her company, although I couldn't really get into her Frank Zappa music, or her pot smoking, although I surely had more than a few, and had inhaled them too.
Isn't it great, this stuff, she always said.
I replied, yes, very relaxing, but I'm either too lazy to move or I'm turning into a stone monument.
You're stoned, she laughed, and that would be a statue.
Well, there was not any deep chemistry between us, but this is not to say that we didn't have some sweet and happy times in the land of eternal sunshine and moonglow. It just wasn't fully romantic, but to my relief, she let it be known early on that they didn't do any deeply sexual things back in Jersey, and so would not here either. I hadn't asked, but we had done some foreplay. Such things, though, didn't seem to apply to her 1 year younger sister, who, while a rather plump girl, seemed to want to do everything with every boy. Well, one was in vacation mode and the other wasn't. Well, aside from true romance, these freer attitudes were still surprising to me. Of course, I was in a Catholic school wherein the opposite seemed to be true, that probably the girls might have been taught to fear any contact with the boys, their holy of holies being so sacred that nothing should be allowed to even lead in that direction, such as even kissing, which is surely a deep knock above on the basement door. What instruction did the boys get? Not much. Lulu was right. I really wasn't very far ahead. The Catholics perhaps having retarded me, although I personally gave up the faith in 5th grade. Of course, boys and men can be aroused even by just looking or thinking. So it wasn't really that I was ever really heading toward the kind of chastity that many of the Catholic girls had developed. Still, I had been sheltered from one of human nature's finer expressions. We did see a movie of some stills in 6th grade showing a boy's thing squirting all over the place. Or that's how it seemed from so many droplets pictured. Way back in 1st grade at Ascension School, my only grade there, I sat across from a girl named Joanne, and one day I saw her dress rise up to show her thigh, and boy, I was in love and lust for a day. I then promptly forgot about females for the next 6 grades and a half, until falling in love with Sister Theophilia in 6th grade, until she quit and ran away with our young priest. I used to walk her home, which was about 10 feet to the convent. Love in 1st grade? Ridiculous. There was also a Jody, whom I walked home with, she revealing to me her butt once, but more interestingly led me to a freezer full of ice cream and popsicles in her basement. Now this to me was heaven. We were friends and had our pictures taken together, which shows that it happened, but I hardly remember any of it, but for the goodies in the freezer. My first day's report from Ascension, by the way, upon first seeing a Mother Superior, was that she called herself Mother Monkey. Well, back to the future. We kids busied ourselves with all things that were summer until a really terrible heat wave arrived and remained for 2 weeks. It was even too hot to swim in the big pool. Some roads began to melt somewhat. Day games were canceled. We retreated to my basement to play pool and listen to music. Elvis sang "It's Now or Never." John F. Kennedy was running for president. I read his book, Profiles in Courage. It said that we should welcome new ideas without rigid reactions. Shifty Chicago Mayor Daley would have dead people casting ballots. Illinois might just carry the day. A U-2 spy plane had been shot down. France had tested its first atomic bomb. The heat wave broke, the rains coming for a day and a night. I ran out into the downpour and around the block. The next day was clear, and I resecured my note, now under a rock. A thought occurred to me. Lulu and her mother didn't even have a car, for her mother had walked slowly a long way that night to buy alcohol, or maybe it was that she wasn't supposed to drive. I stopped at Michael's and asked him, "Did you ever see that Lulu's mother had a car?"
No, and there's no car ever parked there overnight. Is this important?
No, I suppose not, but it means that they are poor. Have you seen her mother go out?
Just to Ensweiler's. Came back with a big bag of stuff.
You didn't tell me.
I forgot.
What about at night?
I wasn't looking.
Thanks, pal.
Oh, and Sharon hasn't been around for a while.
I didn't see her at the playground either.
About 2 weeks.
I looked too. She must be on vacation.
Yeah.
Hope she was at a lake or the ocean.
The best.
And, darn, I was planning to ask her if she'd talked with Lulu on the phone or had gotten a letter.
You never give up, do you?
The dauntless and the dreamers never do.
Which one are you?
I am both. One goes with the other.
And all these maneuverings like the note and me watching, do you really think they're going to accomplish anything?
One never knows, Michael, and they may already have. Plus, I was the last thing on her mind when she left.
And when she got where she was going, you may have become the really last thing on her mind, as in forgotten maybe, everything there being different, freer, and better.
No, there were certain somethings going on as we talked to each other.
How come? Okay then, tomorrow will be the day or soon thereafter.
We are down toward the last few weeks of summer.
Yes, the time is nigh.
You know, Pat, you're my first real friend.
See, something was accomplished.
He smiled, and I shook his hand. He had become calmer, too. Well, the summer had flown by, and now it was near mid-August. It really looked like Lulu was gone forever, despite Michael's optimism, and mine, a goner indeed. She of my dearest glimmer of only one day's meeting that had lasted only about 20 minutes. Judy would soon be leaving, but thank God, I'm just too nice sometimes. I went to sleep early, for there was a big game tomorrow, but I dreamt of her. She was walking through a field of sunflowers, which to me were like stars come down to earth, and then she passed into waves of wheat and corn, the wheat waving in the winds, the corn ripening, she wearing a flowing dress, smiling, happy, and restored from worries. On the following evening, I was way down my block in the late dusk and across my street. I looked back for some reason. I saw Sharon Dalton walking down the sidewalk my house was on. She slowed, but just a bit, and looked at my house, and then continued for a few more steps. I hid behind a tree. She was never around here, and Patrick Hickey lived way down the other way. My spine tingled. Something was up. This would be the perfect time to talk to her. but my father came out to drive the car around to our garage in the alley. She bolted, soon achieving from her gallop a steady and graceful pace in near no time. She already had half a block on me, and more. I pushed hard off the tree, turned, and raced in the direction of someone's backyard whom I didn't know, but they had a fierce dog, and I barely managed to flip over the fence in time, using but one hand as a pivot, such as in gymnastics on the pommel horse. I landed and became entangled in some laundry baskets and clotheslines. They had a dog too, and so I raced toward their front gate since I was closer to that end, doing the 50-yard dash, jumped right to the top of the gate and then down and back out toward the street. My father was still out there fiddling with something in the trunk. I thus had to trace backwards, not really needing to be seen tearing down the street past my father when there was no chance to explain. I could still do it, I thought, for I was a runner. In high school, I would join the track team. Another house, but no good. Ah, Tracy's house. The dear older girl by 5 years or so, who had always played and watched over me when I was 3, 4, and more years old. When I played in the alley behind 1030 Winona, my grandmother's house. Tracy drove a car now, but her car wasn't out front. I raced through her yard. Her car wasn't in the garage either. I ran down the alley faster and faster and then added a bit of pace. My energy was boundless. It was going to be close. I was nearing Lexington, the street before Garfield. I hadn't yet seen Sharon run across the alley a block down, for Garfield had a perpendicular alley there, since the houses and stores faced Garfield, so there was still hope. Always note what you don't see, in addition to what you do, like the dog in Watson Sherlock Tales that didn't bark in the night, and yet I knew she would take the alley instead of Garfield, so she had a gain on me there. However, I happened to have my sneakers on. I turned right on Lexington, taking what would be a more diagonal path overall, for Sharon had gone all the way down Winona, as I'd noted after nearly going to the dogs, so I soon quickly turned left on Home Avenue, and called in my reserves a bit early, at least for a quarter-mile race. It would help if she had slowed to a trot or a walk, which she probably did, or if I could get close enough to call or wave to her, yet I was still too far away for that. If there had been a truck going by, I would have jumped onto the back of it. A blonde streak crossed Home Avenue and then slowed down, she soon to be heading past the trash bins. I yelled and waved. No effect. Curse you, stars. I should have run past my father. There was still a chance she might just walk slow now, as out of breath. Plus, she was now in familiar territory, or maybe have to fumble with the key in the lock, or wait for a buzz at her front door that I knew the whereabouts of. I found a second wind, and then a third one, from love's energy unspent, and entered the trash bin alley just as she had slowly rounded left and onto the sidewalk of Kenilworth. An unheard of fourth wind sped me along. I jumped a small hedge and cut across the grass, buying many precious seconds. I could see the lobby now. The inner lobby door had just swung closed. There was still a chance. I literally fell into the lobby and knocked hard on the locked inner door. She would hear it if she was going up the stairs or waiting for an elevator. The knock had gone unheeded. I knocked again. Nothing. I sat on the floor, exhausted, leaning against the wall. It was like that after races. You just had to get through it, and you knew you would, so there was no need to give in to a panic feeling. I looked at the list of names and their buttons across. There it was, first floor, the first one on the left. I was practically right next to her, but I was too late, and this was not really the best place to be lying around. I dragged myself up and out, somehow, which was difficult, for one did not have to do this right after races had ended. It was late. The stars had come out, so clear and bright. The hot summer had broken a few days ago, and the storms were long overpast. It's now or never, I called out to the night sky, and to Elvis, who is now recording Are You Lonesome Tonight, Bless You Stars. I went over and checked the rock note, still there. I talked to Michael. Nothing. He had been sitting out on his porch all day reading a book that I'd given him. He assured me that there had been no arrivals and that Sharon was back and had made her rounds that day.
I liked the book of poems you gave me and the mystery detective book, too. I've learned a lot from both. When I said that Sharon was back, you didn't even blink an eye or ask me anything more. Plus, you look like you just ran all the way here.
Good one, Michael. She was walking down my street, passing my house and looking around there. But she ran off when my father came out to the car. I gave chase, but she beat me to her home.
Ah, she beat you. I've got to hear this one.
And I've got it to tell it. It's just that I'm still a bit out of breath. Let me have a seat. I'm tired. I'll tell it from the beginning. It only ended a few minutes ago. Then we can discuss the books.
Ah, what a story. Of gigantic wild wolf dogs getting cloths lined and near choked to death. The race of a lifetime, a 6-foot hedge-high jump, and a flying fairy.
The next day at early afternoon, my note was still there, but later the same day, I found that the rock and the note were gone, nowhere in sight. So I put another, waited around a while, and then went home. I thought of ringing at Sharon's, but for sure I would the next day. I could go and ask Lulu's mother, but no one was supposed to go there. Well, I didn't need to take that chance just yet. Michael came over after dinner. He had waited a while to come and tell me that Lulu was back.
I didn't feel like walking over, plus I had to eat dinner.
It's only about 2 blocks, but food is good.
Well, I figured she had to unpack and everything. She got here late afternoon.
Good thinking, Mike. You did well, but the duty is over now. Here's another $2 for your retirement.
Please keep me informed. I feel as I'm a part of it.
For sure. I checked the note early the next day, and the note was gone again, with another in its place, in an envelope which said, "Just got back late yesterday. Had to unpack and readjust. Lucky us, my father's taking his new girlfriend on vacation, so I get some summer after all. My mother and I have be at my aunt's most of today, not too far away. It's a homecoming party for me. Then I'm taking a nap. I'm coming to you tonight at 10:29 Winona. I don't know when, probably late evening. Be on the front screen porch or outside. Sharon scoped it out for me. I am new on top of new, signed, The Boss." I left a note saying that I would be there. Well, my family spent a lot of time on the porch, and I slept out there or camped in the yard all summer. Evening came and my parents were still on the porch, along with my brothers and our dog. I kept an eye down the street. I would have to head her off, I supposed, or they would all gather round with me and a girl who I hardly knew. Well, nothing happened for a long time, which kind of informed me about Lulu's plan. Plus she spoke of a nap. My family went upstairs to sleep, our dog too, to the hum of the large fan that exhausted the warm air out and drew the cool air in. I was the only one with a first-floor bedroom, but it was too hot to sleep in during the summer, so yes, I'd be on the porch all right, and all night. I closed the windows to the living room so my dog could hear even less, drew the drapes, then untwisted some latches on my nearby screen, and stayed up reading. Couldn't sleep, didn't want to. The street grew quiet. Magic descended was in the air. Night had taken hold. The evergreens just in front of the porch swayed a bit in the wind. I peered out the front. No sights, no sidewalk sounds. Nothing. And then in a moment or so I heard some pebbles bouncing off the near screens and looked out and downward. There she was, happily smiling. put my finger to my lips and indicated quiet and held my hand in a wait, then opened the screen and helped her climb. By grabbing her under her shoulders, her feet now able to dig in to climb the shingles sheet, rising up and in landing on my bed, which had a bedspread just like the one on the I Love Lucy show. Only the next production was to be I Love Lulu. We embraced and then kissed and then more and more. Hello again, Lou.
Oh, Rick, I have so much to tell you.
I'm Rick now.
Yes, it's from the end of Patrick, for your friend is also named Patrick, and Sharon likes him. So since it was confusing, I've renamed you Rick.
And you are?
I'm Lucille. Wanna see?
She began undoing her blouse. You don't have to, but then there they were.
I need to show them to especially you and only you. I never forgot that popsicle. How funny is that? And the time we spent. I've been thinking of you for 2 months now.
Wow.
Want to touch them? I don't have time for pleasantries.
Let's kiss some more, and then I'll go for them all around. We celebrated the awakening of her nature for quite a while, and I'm sure the readers really have no interest in this at all in the least bit. Nor does anything lucky like this ever seem likely to happen in young life, but it did with her.
I was at my father's place, Rick, in the middle of frickin' Iowa with horses, cattle, and chickens on a farm run by my grandfather. I read a lot of books, even studied alcoholism, dove into love stories, and more in my spare time. I want to see and notice all of life. It was wonderful, but farm life is not for me really long term. I'm a city girl, in a village, a toughie greaser even, almost. A cabin in Wisconsin would have been just as bad, unless we were there together.
Where are you supposed to be right now?
My mother conked out anyway. It has to open next year, someone said. They have big lights down there now, so they can work at night. Watching the expressway.
Hips, curves, legs, everything, everywhere. You've blossomed in all places. Wow, look at you.
You cared about me, Rick, in my awkling, ducking, moody stage, and I just had my first period that day.
But how did you know that I kept on caring? Yes, but you were well on your way, and I do like awkling in place of ugly. And it even rhymes with duckling. Okay, you didn't feel well, I remember.
Why would you look under a rock every day for 2 months?
Your mother saw me?
She did, and my aunt.
I had hoped so, as part of my plan.
And sometimes you were over there. And that mean old Michael Burrell always looking around?
So, he didn't just look from his porch. He's not so mean anymore. I'm helping him get along in life.
Well, yes, but early on, he put a chair way out on his lawn and stared straight at my apartment all day long, reading books.
Well, he was a bit too dutiful in doing that.
And your friend, Pat Hickey, has been talking with Sharon at Carroll Playground after the games for the last 2 nights, but way across, in the shadows of Lincoln.
Well, he didn't tell me, but I sent him on that quest a while ago, since he said he liked her a long time ago, but, 6th grade and all that.
Girls are about a year ahead of boys, well, most of them, especially those who still bring a frog in their pocket to school.
Plus, I was born in December, although I still have an extra year of schooling and being out and about. And I plead guilty to spying on all counts. The gap has been closed. Okay, we're even, Steven.
In Iowa. I'm only a few weeks younger than you, if that. I was too thin, too. Stress slowed me down. I read about it. And I'm January. I read a ton of books on that farm, from the classics to romances and mysteries galore. And you're not that far ahead. You had to grow up quicker too, Rick.
I'll have to brush up on my Sherlock Holmes some more, such that those followed or observed duly remark, but I saw no one. Wow, I see, and I'm sorry about the spying.
My mother backdated her sighting of you to you being you of the rock checker, as the one looking when she went out to buy a bottle. I felt connected to you.
It's as if we have been together all this time when we weren't.
Don't be sorry, those goings-on brought feeling to me in Iowa.
I surrender. Okay, sentence me.
I am your noun, verb, and sentence, that is, if you've missed me.
I already did, and am going to more. I missed you with every clunk of the pile driver machine, which has mercifully passed out of our area, it becoming replaced with your heartbeat, which it represented all along.
You sometimes speak like some kind of poet or as beyond your years. That's what a girl likes to hear.
Then I leave it there until perhaps late evening, turning into a sportsman in between. It makes the school day fly by. It all comes to rest behind my ears. I read, I learn from those beyond in years, and I like to write.
I'm not beyond any years, but behind, as you say, if it must be one or the other. Sharon cased your house the other day. She saw the porch, and then your father came out, and she got so spooked that she ran all the way home.
I saw. I tried to catch up with her.
She didn't see you, Sherlock.
I'll tell you about it.
Later. I'm carrying out your sentence now, Rick.
There went my night clothes that I had partially put back on. Well, Lucille, you're leaps and bounds ahead of me.
But you're a great student. And I really didn't know anything much about this either.
Because you only just read about it or saw it on a farm.
Right you are, Sherlock, on both.
See? I'll make a good detective yet.
I love the breezes out here. Wish I could sleep over.
You will. We'll figure a way. I'm already on it.
Rick, tell me more about the goddamn expressway.
We're on it in the fast lane, speeding along, daring to be ticketed.
Yeah, all the lightnings of the world can't keep up.
That's a good one. More?
The heavens explode and rain their blessings down.
Keep going.
The soft, sweet liquids grow the plants, nature's promise of the toil from the soil.
You're a wildflower, all right.
I'm the wildest, a once thriving weed transformed to flowerdom. I am Lucille, no more Lulu.
And no more Lucy.
Hey, I thought I saw you when my father picked me up.
You did. I wanted to be around the glowing aura of our meeting place.
It felt so good. A future was unfolding before my eyes, which is what I told myself later. We looked straight at and into each other after a while, didn't we?
We did. I saw the rarest of concoctions, one mixed by the gods.
Ha, they're playing with fire. I've been hoping so much that I've been planning and dreaming of this kind of get-together for a week.
Sometimes things work out perfectly.
I am Lucille, and I am yours, and you are mine.
The Everly Brothers just put out an album with a song, Lucille, on it, about doing or not your daddy's will.
I had to, and I'll have to, I suppose. Now really about the expressway.
The speedway has yielded to soft shoulders and more, for it has taken us out of this world.
Rick, come on.
Okay, I've been saving this one. In Maywood, they had to relocate 4,000 graves so the expressway doesn't run over dead people. Many of the high school kids worked on it for the last 2 years. How's that grab you?
I don't want any zombie reaching out of the road and grabbing me.
What am I going to do with you, my grown-up comic book heroine?
Love me just as you do. I tread deep waters, and they are rough.
I do.
Okay, that's your sentence. We're married.
We kissed some more, and then held on to each other for dear life.
How is this happening, Rick? So magically and so, I don't know the word, so drivingly.
You dreamt of us during the summer and then came right here to me, making it real.
But you made me do that after we first met. A seed grew, sown by you.
But you were out there watching.
But you came over.
In short, it was written in the stars a long time ago.
I'll take that. Fate, destiny, luck, right place, right time, even if just for a few weeks of summer and the first part of the school year.
We rested for a while. Hours had flown by.
Good night, Rick. I have to go soon, maybe, just in case of, well, I don't know what really. It seems I'm becoming terribly adventurous and will gladly allow that to take me over, but I have to see how it goes. I sleep in the front room, on the sofa, and my mother hardly ever seems to come out there during the night.
How come you might have a limited time here?
I'm going to school in frickin' Iowa, eventually, probably there for sure in December, but I'll probably start here. I'll know more soon. However, if my father can hurry up and get remarried, then they won't want me around, or so I'm told, which is really because of her, but she's okay otherwise. Oh, Rick.
Lucille, don't worry about it, for the time is always now. Never wait, never pause.
Thanks, and as you see and saw, I don't.
Gusto, bravery, resolution.
Fearless, in love, spirited, valiant, onward.
If it all goes poof one day, then I'd say that I'd lived a lifetime already.
Me too.
My friend Pat and I are sleeping out in my tent tomorrow if it isn't storming.
I'll bring Sharon. Maybe see you at the expressway after lunch tomorrow too.
Hope so, I'll be there. Wow, it's way after midnight now. Lucille clambered out the window, whispering.
My mother had better be sound asleep and not having had to get up to go to the bathroom to deposit the drinks that she rents, as in one end and then out the other.
You put pillows and things under your blanket to make it look like you were sound asleep on the sofa.
Yes, I did. Don't you know me? Always have a backup plan.
Walk with the wind and move with the water.
Rick, I'm wearing black and they'll say, but I saw no one.
Take the alleys. Who knows who will be driving down the streets. Cross Winona right here and cut through my grandmother's yard.
Okay, and our love is our secret.
Agreed. We don't need the wrong people finding out. I lay back, ready to sleep. Miracles do happen after all, but this was no streetcar named Desire. It was an express train, and I was pouring coal into the fire. Well then, run me over. I found her the next day, out watching the progress of the expressway just after lunchtime.
Still on for tonight?
On and on. You're the Cannonball Express and I'm the tracks.
You are the trucks and I am the expressway.
We kissed some more, but quickly. We'd need more restraint in public. This road was brand new for each of us, and we had layered down the pavement.
I'm a new woman from the last time we were here.
Yes, you've been farmed and have grown into the vision I'd reckoned you would. Nature's promise came through for you in America's heartland. You are feeling your oats.
So me. They fed me well on the farm. So you're a student of human nature, Rick, noting the goings-on of all ages?
I'm a student of Shakespeare who is a student of human nature.
I read his love sonnets.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're in for it.
And I'm asking for it.
Look, Rick, the freight trains are running. Guess they didn't need that much to get on their wheels.
Yeah, and the transit lines are being tested. Harlem Avenue has a buoyed bridge, as from before. But now the ramps are going down from it, on both sides in the middle as planned. Oak Park Avenue is still closed. We're cut off. We live on a land island. How will we survive on this isle?
I like being alone together, Rick. Suddenly we have an inner world as large as a universe.
We're fast!
We'll last.
To the moon, Lucille.
And around other worlds, Rick?
So here we are at the railing again.
This expressway project took more effort than building the darn pyramids, didn't it?
I'd say so. They've been thinking about it since the 40s, but the war delayed it. And then there were all the Chicago plumbing, electric, and buildings that had to be reconfigured.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
But we were in 20 minutes.
You carried us on your flying daydream horses while I went off and sprouted the wings to fly with you.
You're becoming poetic again, Lucille.
Yeah, from backward Iowa's timeless goodness and their heartfelt sayings that I added to but couldn't show them, but I still can't make it there. They'll run out of books and I'll tire of milking cows and feeding hay.
We can only hope. The fates have brought us this far, a jillion miles out to uncharted territory.
I was a darkling duckling, Rick, on that day we met. What did you ever see in me?
I saw love, daring, promise, adventure, maturity, romance, fine talk, seeking, wishing, hope, a spirit that could not be quenched even by a rough life, and beauty, a glow behind the darkness ready to burst forth into the light.
You can see through murky shadows and wearied eyes?
Yes, but it was really your father who saved the day and watered you, my summer flower. He got you away from the misery for a while and you perked up.
You're right, for he told me that. He's a good man. The worst he ever does is to get a little impatient. And of course, he's been through a lot with my mother.
Yeah, he tapped on his car. I saw life in you, Lucille.
I borrowed your life for a while to rekindle my own, the open Iowa fields of sunshine doing the rest. I needed that.
You're a supernova now, my dear, over shining galaxies of sunflowers.
And you know, Rick, it's scary out in life, and in the future, for one can see future all around here. Not to be dismal or to get too deep, but look at the families around here, and on your street too. They have lots of kids, have to commute to jobs and work all day, and then get home tired and have to worry about all kinds of things. Many of them ending up either blanked out or crabby.
I like deep, but yes, it's often enough of blackness, as you say, although there are some happy families, and you and I both have empathy and feeling for all that goes on.
I can see into the deepest dark. I've always been able to. Sometimes it's like a plague, though, for I see, sense, and feel all the suffering that goes on for mankind. But the happiness, too, thankfully.
I have this feeling that a kind of automatic behavior just takes people over and then they go on its own autopilot, they having to fall and follow their thoughts. It's as if I've discovered some terrible but necessary secret of the universe's workings, but people just doing any old random thing out of the blue would be worse, wouldn't it?
My mother does the robot thing. She gets counseling but just ignores it. It's a disease, you know.
Perhaps some cannot learn, which is a pity, as this is a state of doom from which there is no return. For it's learning that enlarges the range of choices that, well, the brain still serves up. But at least the results can then carry one further than if there was no learning. Of course, that's if you have the inclination to learn in the first place. The whole smash is kind of insidious.
Got a book on this?
I'll have it in the tent tonight.
We're sailing along on Automatic Love, too.
Yeah, but we like its track.
And, Rick, go to the drugstore and tell the man to get you a pack of some of those things from behind the counter that your way older brother that you don't have asked you to please obtain for his honeymoon.
All the way on our second day?
I don't have time to wait, Rick, which I still would, but for love. I have to live months in a day and a year in a week, and so do you. We're a rare conjunction, and at a time in life when we are relatively free from what chores will fall in the future.
In the American nostalgic 1950s.
Lou, you're schooling in Iowa.
Yes, most likely, if I may predict at some point. My mother's been very ill. I just found out. A kind of nurse in training from the neighborhood is already there and will look after her from time to time. And Sharon will too. My mom will get better, and my stepmother-to-be won't want me there after she marries my father. We have 2 weeks and more in paradise. We're building a love pyramid unto the heavens.
I've heard of soldiers going off to war.
I'm going to study and do well. I'm free at last for now, and my father's going to let me take a bus back here sometimes. In the meanwhile, to visit Mom, and thereby you.
Your father wouldn't approve of you seeing a boy, would he?
He'd never allow it.
Your father arranged for the nurse, didn't he?
Yes.
Want to go to the Big Forest Park swimming pool? I'll ask your mother.
So you'll just go and ask her, just like that?
Yes, and maybe she could come outside so I needn't go into the forbidden zone.
I'll see if she's in any kind of shape and get my suit.
Mother didn't look so well, though. 5 minutes passed, and they both came out. Hello, I'm Patrick from St. Bernardine Holy Catholic School, and I'm asking if Lucille can go to the great big pool near there, where there are many of our age to meet and greet and have fun with, for it's summer and still warm, and well, you know, I really like your daughter. We didn't say any more either, but just stood there, hoping she would see her younger self, if only for a sane moment, in Lucille. Her mother just kind of looked at us for a while, caught in this unanticipated atmosphere of life in the glowing daylight, such as perhaps Dracula might be. She's seeming at a loss for words.
Sure, go.
We looked back. Mother waved us on.
and watched us walk away.
A miracle.
Sometimes just what you think might not work is the very thing that will.
I'm in shock. I didn't see that one coming.
And her unspoken words were, "I won't tell."
Hey, yeah.
Plus, she could hardly say no once she was on the spot like that.
You trickster, you.
We had to take the gamble, no choice, which made it necessary.
You're a good poker player, and I guess that holy bit didn't hurt any.
She's slowing dying, Lucille, and that's at best. I also needed to have a look at her,
The nurse doesn't let her drink or hide anything around the place.
but she takes liver pills, so there's hope.
Yeah, I know deep down. I didn't want to tell you. I've already made my peace with it.
We have each other always.
We do, and each day that we have is as an eternal forever completely fulfilled to me, whatever that means.
It means that we find eternity in a moment.
I'm ready for tonight, Rick.
I have the things. Is your body ready?
Rick, I made it ready in Iowa all by myself.
After swimming, we went for a Green River soda at the fountain in the back of the drugstore. We sat on stools, pondering the night to come, when heaven and earth would move, drenching us in its age-old aqua vita. We were frontier adventurers, jumping off the cliff into deep waters, flying through the air in our free-fall plunge into nature's abyss of love and sensation. We took our time getting home, but she made it home for dinner, or rather to make dinner. I was not dizzy, but I was so lifted, high above myself, and that was near dizzying. Love had conquered gravity. I ran toward home, flying, floating, then running faster, doing the quarter mile again, intoxicated by love, raptured right out of this bluish-green sphere, and probably even poking my head up into heaven. After dinner, I took a little nap. The whirlwind was about to become a tornado. My friend Patrick came over about 8 o'clock or so. We packed some supplies and went out toward the tent and sat on the grass on a slight hill just in front of it.
Pat, we're having a surprise tonight.
What?
Night and day are arriving in person. It's a rare conjunction.
Yeah, day will follow night.
It's more than that. I gave him a condom saying, "You might need this."
He gave me a surprising look.
When?
In about an hour or two.
How? Why?
I see that you are becoming speechless and have been reduced to using only short, basic words. That's all I can tell you. They want to see the look on your face. Yes, sun glow and moonlight, no more questions.
We sat outside the tent and looked up to the stars, those suns that gave life to other worlds upon which there would surely be life looking back at us.
Wave to the aliens.
The suspense is killing me.
An hour and a half went by.
They've begun their approach.
I see and hear nothing.
They're probably wearing dark clothes and black leather jackets, and right this minute they are quite nearby and checking out the area, from the alley or even from the next yard. They will be upon us before we can even know. So, let's go into the tent and wait on the cots. It's cool in there now. There.
Okay.
We went in and sat. He was straining his ears.
You won't hear any twigs snapping. They have elfin feet.
You're scaring me.
They are scary, I can tell you, but their hearts are spun of gold. I've never encountered anything like this, even in literature. They are light years ahead of their time, as from another world.
We'll see.
A shooting star has opened some kind of doorway between the worlds. Get out of here!
I lit a small candle and placed it in the center.
Pat, my friend, a falling star truly hath come from behind the earth and already touched me deeply, which living dream I carried with me all summer long, and it has just recently become a rising star. I know not the how, nor whence, or why, but just the where, the when, and this day thence.
That's like Shakespeare talk.
Yeah, we're having a Midsummer Night's Dream tonight, a play within a play. Lo, I sense the waves of their coming. Look, the candle flame flickers.
He looked down for but a second, but in that time the soft screen doors had parted from their slight overlap, and there stood nature's angels, light and dark, like ninjas or fairies in the garden of good and evil. They bade silence. They had a plan. They let down their hair, then slowly disrobed, piece after falling and flowing piece, until there wasn't anything left but perfume. Patrick was stunned. He'd probably thought that something like this took months and months of attention and persistence to get onto. They joined us on our cots and then took our clothes off, all this going on in plain sight. Sharon then picked up the candle and blew it out. Now, I'm pretty sure that my readers here would really rather be out and doing some astronomy than hear about the natural and loving happenings inside the tent. It became later and later, and I ventured just before we were to sleep.
You each told your mother that you're sleeping over at the other's house.
That's it.
And if the mothers talk to each other?
My mother doesn't know, meet, or greet anyone.
Her liver has been acting up for a while now, hasn't it?
That's what they told her. She told them she was a dyer, not a liver.
We went to sleep. Comets and meteors crisscrossed the night sky, and they were soon mirrored in the stillness and peacefulness of our sleeping beings. We got up at 7 a.m. and headed out for breakfast in Berwyn, it being just across Roosevelt Road, the Lincoln Highway which went to Iowa. It was Saturday. Few would be up and about yet, so we were invisible, even in daylight. Then we all went home and finished our sleeps. Later in the day, we walked the length of the Oak Park section of the expressway along Garfield Street, all the way down to Austin Boulevard. It was about 2 miles, and we stopped to inspect the expressway's progress along the way. We also took note of other scenes, like a greenhouse, a park, old buildings, and such, the things that make a village a village. On the way back, we stopped and ate at a cafe near the closed Oak Park Avenue. This was our first real dining date.
Remember, the big train gate here and at the lesser crossing avenues at every street actually, where there were those little gates run by someone in a small hut.
Yeah, it was along 2 or 3 years ago.
We're so ancient now.
Very old. Aren't you supposed to be at a baseball game?
As an outfielder, one has to try to get a jump on any balls coming out that way, gauging the direction by the swing and how the contact's made, then gauge the intensity and the type of the hit by the sound of the crack of the bat, which comes a split second later. And I got Dennis Hickey to play center field for me on those days when not pitching. He's really good now, and he'll love the chance to play a wide-ranging area. I'll pitch in a few days, and also if we make it to the finals. We've already been seeded into the championship tournament.
And our new backup pitcher needs work too.
Yes, but I'm having Jeff pitch for me today, and there are plenty of off days now these days for him to rest his arm.
Wow, see you on your screen porch tonight?
You bet. My brother was still out on the porch, but soon went up to sleep. The trucks clattered and whizzed through the underpass, or it was that the trains rumbled on and into the tunnel. I waited a bit of a while and then moved a statue over to indicate all clear.
Who lives around here?
And then 2 more houses of older people that yell at us. Then Dennis and Pat Hickey, as mentioned before, Pat being in my class. Then Jeff and Tim Anderson, 7th and 6th grade Lincoln, and on our baseball team. Then who knows who. Then a red-headed Sharon, 5th grade Lincoln. Then I don't know for 2 houses, for they never come out. Then old Ilka, a crab. Then the Nelsons, they having older kids by about 1 year and 2. Jimmy and Ann, the father being a John Birch Society political nut. Then my house. Then the older Dolores woman and her mother, and Charlene Faust also being there, the sister of Betty Crosley, and in my class, but not an attraction to me. Then the Crosleys, a bunch going to the dogs via a beer drinker father. Then Mr. and Mrs. Stennell, he sometimes taking our football if it goes into his yard, keeping it for a while. Then 2 houses of older people. Then Father Sinkovich and his really thin daughter, 5th grade Lincoln, referring to the grade just gotten out of, she telling us that they had come from Transylvania. Well, starting down on the corner on this side, there are the Fowles, many of them and somewhat chubby, their oldest boy usually out in the yard heaving a brick to see how far it will go.
Who or what really made the recipe for humans?
I've been slowly trying to work it out.
And who lives on the other side?
And then the rest I don't really know, but Tracy's family, a lot of them, she having watched after me when I was very young. And Phyllis, in my class and of no interest, she mature in an odd, sexless way, ever coming over to see my mother to talk politics and community, as if I wasn't even there. Then the Tennards, the missus and the older high school girl always sporting a bouffant hairdo. Then my grandmother's house. Then Peggy Tyler, 5th grade Lincoln, who doesn't say very much. Then who knows for a bit. Then the Carahars, a big bunch attending my school, Billy being an alternate on our team, Bobby a friend of my brother Jim, then Janice Sigardo, 5th grade Lincoln, and then some blanks.
Then the Kennedys with young kids.
Crossing the street we have the Walshes, a lot of them. Christine being in my class and of no interest to me. Pat often playing with my brother Mike. Bobby being on our team at second base. Their father being the biggest crab for miles around.
Who or what made the tiger, the lion, and humans to be just as they are?
If I knew that, I'd know a heck of a lot toward everything, but I've been reading on evolution.
What do you see deep in the darkness?
I see that time has been very long and that space is so very large.
So we are time and space as of it.
And dust.
What dust?
Hi dust, stardust.
Hello, star. What are the good courses yet to come in high school?
Biology for sure, to answer your questions about the species, their origins and habitats, long-term, and some chemistry, about how things happen within us and around us, and a bit of physics for the mostly lower levels of reality that we don't see right off, though often expressed in large machines.
And on the other side?
Closer to our everyday life, there are the liberal arts such as music, art, literature, business, home economics, life 101 if they had one, and more.
And in between?
History, geography, the trades, math, and more. Life gets heavy in high school and college, but if one is open to learn...
Yeah, and a job after school, but there are always the weekends. What's good where we are now?
Just lunch, recess, gym, and walking home from school?
Haha.
On the next day, we saw 2 movies then played in the pool hall, Lucille fitting right in there. Although I was young, I'd been readily accepted there, for I could shoot. I had a pool table at home in my basement. On another day, we rode our bikes to River Forest and back, looking at the mansions, a new location for us both. We had lunch and ice cream. I had taken a big advance on my allowance. My parents hadn't asked what it was for, just saying, "Enjoy." I had never expected to be on a honeymoon so young. It was as if there was a full moon and a high tide every day, with bigger and bigger waves rolling in, as perhaps from a hurricane way out on the ocean of impossible dreams. Or it was that the fates had conspired and turned all of the good levers upward, rigging the wheel of fortune against all odds, sending us to each other. This perhaps begun as some hilarious experiment, but now, since it had exceeded their expectations, caused them to raise all the levers to the max, so that life and love could be lived completely fully now, to see if we would crack, or in case during future heavy life and strife, we could never live so much again. Whatever it was, I thank the stars some more. Whenever is it, or will it be in life and love that all goes so perfectly? Where are the flaws, the problems? Writing and loving can be so thoroughly enlivening. The time moves ahead from what you thought it was but several hours, and one feels so awake and alive that sleep doesn't even get thought of. We took the new transit line to downtown Chicago and walked all around. On another day, we saw a play and dined in a fancy restaurant. Yes, we were the youngest there, living an eternity in a moment. Another time, we took a big train all the way out, as far as we could go. Towards Aurora, probably. In between, and especially at night, we nested on the porch or in the tent, secure in the larger remnant of Oak Park lopped off. Life's dim shadows had fled at our every Midas touch. Hello, baseball. The next game night had arrived at Maple Park, our home field, and I was pitching. Lucille was there, and Sharon, and they were both getting on well with the spectators, many of them our peers, some of whom she knew from Lincoln, most of these kids sitting in the dugout with us, it getting crowded there when the other team was on the field. Lucille didn't let on why she was there watching, and no one had asked. When we were at bat, she neither moved to sit near me nor away from me. It went according to how the seating happened to work out each inning. We were ahead by 3 runs, but we were playing the third best team, and so they would get their due. Anything could happen on any given day. They were now up in the top of the last inning. Sure, we would have the last at-bats, but we didn't want to fall behind and then have to depend on that. We needed 2 more outs. However, they had men on second and third, one from an error and one from a hit. Our manager came out and told me to intentionally walk the next batter, who was their best hitter, which secondly would fill the bases and give us a force play at every base, especially home plate, and which thirdly could lead to an easy double play begun at any base. Well, but it was a gamble too. The next batter was no slouch, but I still had a lot of speed on my pitches. The count was 3 balls and 2 strikes. I had to throw one over the plate now, and did. He hit the ball, though forced to swing late, and it went high up in the air, being but half hit, but toward right field, where unfortunately the fence wasn't that far away, due to the presence of Harlem Avenue, but the fence was triple high at about 25 feet. We didn't need an unpredictable, uncontrollable carom off the fence, going who knows where, or worse, a grand slam home run. I headed off to the left of the catcher in case a throw to home from right field went long, or was fumbled or knocked away by a collision. The first baseman, Pat Hickey, started out very quickly to look for a bounce off the fence, or to take a relay throw, since he would have nothing to do at first base. The second baseman, Bobby, stayed at second. The shortstop, Lanny, moved to back up the third baseman, Norm, in case of an overthrow there. The left fielder moved in too, so as to do the same, or to help if someone got caught in a rundown. The center fielder moved fast toward right field to look for a ricochet. It was a really lazy fly ball, but deep, and darned if Dennis Hickey didn't climb up the fence for a few feet, stick up his glove up and catch the ball, which threw him off balance. He then fell to the ground hard and held on to the ball but didn't get up. The runners had been in a kind of limbo. They could but move to a halfway point or more, and did, but not so far as to risk becoming an out if the ball was caught and it got back to the base before they did. So now they quickly ran back to their bases, tagged up, and then could freely move on, which they did, taking off like bats out of hell. The first baseman, Dennis's brother Pat, had continued all the way into right field and quickly took the ball out of his brother's glove, letting the umpire see him do it, then turned around and looked. He didn't have an outfielder's arm, nor the trained ability to have mentally envisioned where the runners would be after a hit or a fly ball went out to him, but he still had his wits, and some practice that we'd given him. He knew that precious time had gone by, that thus the runners on third and second would easily make it home, if not the runner from second having it in sight more than a throw to the plate could catch him. So then, it was the runner from first who would have taken a much bigger stride into limbo, as per usual, plus there being no first baseman there to take the throw, which wouldn't come to there anyway, with runners headed toward home. Yet, this last runner from first would thus have all the longer to have to run back and tag up and then take off again, effectively having to run even longer than an extra base path's length. We had all practiced these things or had run into them in games, doing postmortems on them. These outfield things even involving infielders, for in a pinch they might have to play out there. Yeah, we were serious about baseball. So it was Pat had but the last runner in mind, who was a bit large and slow too. Pat turned, and at the same time, both seized on the last runner and got ready to throw, as we had taught. He noting a fair chance for a play at third base, which was a good bet, even if the guy made it there, for that's where he'd have to remain. A throw to home would have been double safe, but we didn't play that way. One needed to try for the third and final out instead of letting another batter come up, especially with the tying run on third. He unleashed the throw of his life, a line drive kind of throw, for there was no time to go to a cutoff man or bounce it in. It was a bit high and a bit toward the home plate side, though, and Norm Nielsen, the third baseman, jumped up, but couldn't reach it. However, recall that the shortstop, who happened to be his brother, Lanny Nielsen, had run behind him to back up third. In fact, he was out near the street as far as he could be, up against a car. Darned if Lanny didn't jump high and catch the ball, coming down and bouncing off the side of the hood of the car, but not falling. The runner heading toward third had slid into the base, his coach having instructed him to. Now he had half slowly gotten up and was quickly heading toward home, having seen the throw go past. His coach tried to call him back, but it was just a little too late. Lanny didn't have a clear sight on home plate. A small tree and the edge of the batting cage were in the way. Meanwhile, I had run all the way around the catcher, now to his right side, the first base side. Lanny had taken a step out. He couldn't throw through a metal cage, but maybe he could throw it just under the tree branches, but to whom? He must have spotted me when he had stepped out. He threw low, a bouncer. He had to. It just missed the tree trunk and I eyed it all the way. The bounce was true. I flipped the ball to the catcher, Tim Anderson, who caught it and held firm in his place. There was a big collision. Tim was thrown back, falling into the dirt. The ball stayed in his mitt, plus he'd had his other hand over it. He didn't move right away. The game was over. We didn't need our last at-bats. Jeff Anderson, our center fielder, when not pitching, had run all the way in now to check on his brother, who soon stirred and then even got up on his feet. Dennis was still down, out in right field. We all grew quiet and started out there. Dennis moved a bit, with Pat still checking him over. Dennis began to stand up and did, looking a bit foggy.
He then made us laugh by saying, "What happened? Where am I? Heaven? Who won the game?"
He seemed okay. We headed back. The other team applauded Dennis, then even came and walked back with us most of the way, even past their own dugout. Lanny came limping over, his brother Norm helping him. There was a lot of excited talk for a long time, such as about playing on crutches, then most of them melted away toward home or said they were going to McDonald's. Pat and Sharon walked home with Dennis in the middle, they keeping an eye on him. Tim and Jeff followed just behind. Our manager, Lanny's and Norm's father, drove them straight home so they could check out Lanny. There were but two of us left, one in each dim corner of the dugout. We could barely see each other. In the American nostalgic 1950s, I walked over. "Hello, sweetheart."
What an ending, Lucille remarked.
Many games have a lot of action, and sometimes even miracles on top of miracles, but never anything quite like this, with 3 players getting knocked around on the same play. I'm going to miracle on top of you right now.
Here? Where?
Out there to the right of right field, under that big tree near the bench.
That's the lover's bench.
How appropriate. Of course you know that I'm all sweaty.
Good. Do we have another one of those things?
I brought one.
And our clothes will form the blanket, right?
Yes, and it will be wonderful.
You're the boss.
We had almost 15 days of summer left. Life's dim shadows had fled at our every Midas touch. Even Michael had perked up all the more, now quite a fine person. One night, just after midnight, we walked the alley behind Garfield all the way down to Rem Park. which was large, to look at the stars, and so we made our way to its center, it being a darkness within the dark, far away from any lights. The night was cool, and so the air was clear. The moon had set. We laid a thin blanket next to a small bush and put out a bottle of water, allowing some minutes for our eyes to get even more used to the dark. Lots of stars. The stars are ghosts, Lucille told me. For their light has traveled so very far, we seeing it only now. Some of the stars may not even exist anymore. And so then is everything a kind of a ghost, I remarked.
But the stars are more so.
You studied them in Iowa.
Yes, and I learned all their names and the constellations they're in.
She proceeded to name them all. That's more than I knew.
We forget about the stars living near the city.
Yeah, but for the bright ones, which are not stars but planets.
I thought and studied a bit about what you said of time, space, dust, and our origins, and I came up with something. It's deep.
Teep me.
They've been growing old all this time and dying in order to make us young. Some of them began forming just after the beginning, like in a few million years after.
They are our ancestors.
Yes, as our ancient mother and father.
What else?
They are not just white. See, there's a blue one and a green one.
And a red one and an orange one.
Night's rainbow.
Good stuff.
Oh, a meteor.
We waited breathlessly. And another, I noted. There were no more. She turned to half lay on my chest for a while, and then focused intently through the bush. So I looked too. She turned to half lay on my chest for a while, and then focused intently through the bush. So I looked too. A beam of light was sweeping the park.
A police car, she whispered. Don't move. What will we do?
Nothing for now would be best. It may just be routine, for the park is closed after dark. There's a sign that says so. We play ball games here.
And if he gets out and starts walking this way?
We'll move off slowly in a crouch, keeping the bush between him and us.
It's a long way to the other side.
If we see that he's spotted us, we'll run to the tennis courts. There is a hole in the fence at the back, leading into some small woods, and then to an alley.
This is so exciting.
You always turn fear into excitement, don't you?
As do you.
The beam searched all over the park, end to end and from to back.
He's not looking at any one spot in particular, she noted.
He ought to know that campers would settle next to the bush. It's the only one out here. However, nothing much happens here, so he won't come over. The light soon went off and we could see his car pull away. He won't be back for quite a while, I said.
I can feel my heart beating.
Mine too. Let's wait for them to calm. We stayed still. The wandering airs caressed us, the stars kissed us, and the music of the spheres played their rhythms to us. She sat up. Time to make hay.
Where the sun don't shine.
All good things like summer must ever draw to an end, but not yet. Meanwhile, nothing else mattered. We ran through the sunflowers, and they bowed their heads to us. The marigold spoke to us, telling us that we were as free as ever now. Would we, like they often did, last through the cold and the dark, and well into the life's final frost? What whims of fate had thrown in their lot in us? What the coincidence? Why the jeweled gem of a star that shone on us? Wherefrom sprung this perfection? Where were the wishes unread, the dreams unrealized? The time had flown by. We had but 2 summer days left, this day Lucille having to attend to her mother, leaving us with but 1 precious day to come. We won the championship game without Lucille being able to be there. Well, we had won last year too, and probably would the next. We just had a luckily constituted team, but we'd also played together a lot for many years. I was resting on the sofa when there came a banging on my front door. My dog went crazy and I quieted him down and then went out. It was Michael, huffing, puffing, and breathless.
She's dead.
Who?
Lulu's mother just died, pronounced dead on the scene. You don't have to pay me. I was coming home and caught the middle of it. Maybe it happened an hour or more ago.
I put my arm around Michael, and then he unexpectedly hugged me and cried. He was really growing up, passing out of a stage. I cried too. It took a while for us to compose ourselves. Thanks, Mike. It doesn't bode well, does it?
Now your dear little Lulu will never be able to come back since she's still way too young. She'll have to live with her father and her stepmother-to-be, and he won't want any part of what was sad for him back here, nor any relatives on her mother's side of the family reminding him of...
Michael couldn't go on. He had just broken down. After a time, I told him, "You care about us, don't you, Michael? Having lived empathetically through our endeavors?"
Yeah, Pat, I was rooting for you too. Me, well, I've always been behind the 8 ball until recently.
Your day will come. Hey, it has. The dawn is here.
Am I right about the situation?
Yes, spot on. A child has to live with a parent when there is one. That's the law. We are lost to each other.
But Pat...
If she has to go away, then that's what has to be done, Mike. Terrible thing that it is.
She could run away from home.
And then be caught eventually, ending up in a juvenile home or school, ruining her life, her chances for a career.
We are all children yet, Pat, I guess. I'm so sorry that I was mean to little Lulu at school.
There are stages that we pass through, Mike. Sometimes they take us over for a while. We are the great sum of all the fears and hopes that made our mixture, good or bad, over eons of whiles, ever versus the strife.
I'm gonna read and learn things like, you know.
Right on, Michael, my friend. Right on, I'll walk back with you.
So what about you and Lulu?
We're alive, and will eventually be bright and glowing again, having painfully striven on through our tears and back into this often wonderful world. We will have our memories forever, and will always know the other is out there.
Brave and fancy talk, but it's not good enough, is it?
No, it's not good enough, and it never will be, Mike. It's just a kind of a consolation. For sure, our last faint hope has been crushed, ground into the dust even. It's over, Mike. Fate's other wretched hand has arrived at our door and knocked us out of the skies for good.
Life goes on.
Yes, someday I hope, and though no greater sadness has ever come to my step, life must and will stumble on. And then will someday rear back up into its sure but rare glory, triumph, and gladness. It will take some time. I have been to the highest heights, and so now the fall must thus be the greatest plunge. It hasn't all hit me yet. I'm just trying to think while I still can.
She will wait for you and you for her, like in a fairy tale.
Lulu would want us to live fully, even all the while as this new and larger expressway blocks and severs us from each other for a very long time, if not forever. We soon came upon the scene. Lucille's aunt and some of the tenants were still gathered round. The coroner had come and gone. Michael and I walked in. The place was indeed a mess. Lucille was in a heap on the sofa. She sprung up and took me outside. "Later, Michael," I called. We walked and walked 5 blocks all the way to Maple Park, alone with our thoughts, and then sat on the lover's bench.
Here we are. She began. "This is our second last day. I called my father. He's coming the day after tomorrow. My aunt is holding the wake the following day. My father and I won't be there, for school is going to start. There's no way out. It's a one-way dead-end street, Rick. Today I have to console my aunt and she, me, so we have but one day left. Tomorrow. Today we will be sad, but tomorrow we will not speak of it. Nor will we speak of any future, for we'll take care of that now. Tomorrow is to be just one of our regular days, as if we had not a care in the world. May I ask this of you?
I'm ready.
What we already expected has now been cast in stone, a bit soon, yes, but here it is. I really have to live with my father. I told him on the phone that a boy liked me, and he said that we were much too young, which I suppose we are as far as the world goes, and that I have to look forward, because I probably won't be coming back to live with my aunt or any such thing. Plus, all boys are out, done, finished.
As I thought but didn't want to think.
We really pulled a fast one on this old world, didn't we, Rick?
Yes, we did. I'd say it was stupendous. I am awed and thankful for the magnificence that you in this life have given me. Was unsurpassable. You will always be my summer flower.
There is no better thing I have lived or done, Rick. The colors will be forever brighter for me, my taste deeper, my thirst for knowledge depthless, my love of life never deeper.
Tears roll down my cheeks, the same for me.
I grow even now, your tears water the flower. What I have lived with you has taken me to places never dreamed of, first-hand life not obtainable from books, feelings direct before me and in me that previously I had only faintly echoed at best.
It's been more than fine.
We will not write and hope and all that jazz, Rick. You must live and love to your greatest capacity, holding nothing back. Remember me, yes, with all your heart and being, but let it not interfere with your life. I command you, I beg of you. You had better be married by the time I am 18 and free in about 5 or 6 years.
I wasn't going to get married that young. There's college, then finding a job, and then saving, and then maybe having enough for a small house, and so on. It's way over the rainbow.
You know what I mean, Rick. Don't let me hear from Sharon that you are moping around and not going out with anyone, or not being full of life in any way.
By your command, but I will need some recovery time.
Yeah, perhaps, but plunging right back into life would be the best course.
Do I have to?
Yes, I am the boss.
You always were, and I loved it.
My pleasure is your pleasure.
You must live too, Lucille, or I'll go there and shoot you.
My father would shoot you on sight.
Yeah, he's a toughie about that, but you're a sweetheart.
You better come up with a sweetheart now and then. Sharon will be spying on you. She's getting along with your best friend very well, you know. You must go on some double dates to prove yourself.
I'm at the mercy of you both. I will live and love again someday after tomorrow, that is.
And don't try to fake it. It will be seen through.
Some part of me can still wait for many years, can't it? No, it can't and shouldn't. You have your orders.
We have to live and not pine, Rick, both of us. We are not mopes and dopes and cannot be. There's no reason now for me to ever be sent back here. My father's girlfriend doesn't like Iowa, nor big cities, and wants to live somewhere in between those two kinds of places, as in out west a lot more.
Maybe you are in shock.
No, I'm as clear as a bell, and I'd better hear of you ringing someone's chimes.
Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for everyone.
Yes, for my mother, you, me, and everyone.
I will know that you are out there as my pot of gold.
Yes, that part is difficult. We have to hope that it will fade enough to let us get on.
You know that it won't.
Yeah, I know.
Someday, somewhere, somehow we'll meet again.
One never knows, but our youth is against us.
Yes, and in that regard, the world has just pulled one on us.
Oh, Rick, she teared. I don't know if I can be so brave.
It helps that we have to be, which is the only saving grace.
This is all but brave talk.
Yeah, I know some of it.
We'll both fall apart at the seams. Emotions that we've never known will rise and try to drown us. But we will revel in it, meet it, encourage it, stepping forth into the arena of the storm's fury, living it and loving it for what it represents, which is love.
We have been to the stars and have written our names there.
I'll look there often.
Me too, I'll pin a note up there.
We're already brave. We stayed together, morning, noon, and night, never holding back, even while full well knowing that it was likely to end.
Yeah, we lived in the now.
And that's what I mean about staying in it and enjoying life.
Hope, yes, ever hope, but don't let it take you over.
We'd better get back.
Yes, I'll drop you at Winona.
While I've mentioned you in general, Rick, the real secret is still ours to keep.
It's locked within us. See you tomorrow, Lou.
Now I'm Lou.
Yeah, just for tomorrow.
And remember, I want tomorrow to be a regular type day, frozen into my memory forever, normal, just as it is. There is to be no talk of missing, death, or anything out of the ordinary, which, of course, for us, will be pretty special.
Will do.
Oh, and one more night in the tent, just us, until sunrise, to the last moment of the last hour of the last day. I can sleep in the car on the way to the middle of nowhere in Iowa.
You're a great commander. I'd work under you anytime. She saluted and marched off toward her home on Home Avenue, where the dark angel of death had just visited, tumbling and shattering our last tottering pyramid of hope into fragments. Mike was still there. Lulu gave him a hug. He'd been forgiven. He'd just run back to tell me this. The next day and night were ours to know, with none of it to ever be told. The final events etched into time's grand clock that moves the universe along, bit by bit, through all the infinite but small parentheses that make up eternity. I couldn't be there when she was going to be picked up by her father, lest her father obtain an inkling of our seriousness. But several days later, I went over to our favorite expressway viewing point. I wrote a note, put it in an envelope, and taped it under the new, wider railing where it couldn't be seen but by perhaps a toddler who wouldn't be able to reach it. It read, "Lou, when we grow old and have some pains and creaks, we'll still remember we lived a lifetime in a few weeks."